Oh, I'm Jesse James.
And I'm Adley.
And I'm Bob McCarthy.
And you're listening to the CNN report of today's news.
The panic of 1929 unsurprisingly is luring more investors to the market and investing on margin with borrowed money. The market peaked on September 3rd, 1929. Steel production is down, several banks are failing, and fewer homes are being built. But few are paying attention. The Dow stands at 381.17, up 27% from the previous year. Over the next few weeks, however, prices are predicted to move downward, and the lower they fall, the faster they will pick up speed.
In the last hour of trading, on Thursday, October 23rd, 1929, stock prices suddenly plummeted. When the closing bell rang at 3 p.m., people were shaken. No one was sure what had just happened. But that evening provided enough time and fear, and panic set in. When the market opened again the next day, prices plunged and renewed violence. Stock transactions are printed on ticker tape, which can only produce 285 words a minute. 13 million shares changed hands, the highest daily volume in exchange's history. At the point, the tape didn't stop running until 4 hours after the market closed. The following day, President Herbert Hoover went on the radio to reassure to the American people, saying, "The fundamental business of the country is on a sound and prosperous basis and will be better." Herbert Hoover, born in 1874, is a self-made millionaire in the mining industry and is a very successful Secretary of Commerce from 1921 to 1928 and a very unsuccessful President of the United States of America. In the year 1929, his terms saw the onset of the Great Depression, which began with the stock market crash just a few months after he took office. Hoover was elected president in 1928, promising that we shall soon, with the help of God, be inside of the day that poverty will be banished from this nation. Unfortunately, Hoover's presidency saw not the banishment of poverty, but instead the onset of Great Depression, which began with the stock market crash in 1920. Ladies and gentlemen, this is Whoa, that was a long day of work.
Some tea.
No, I want something new today. I'm gonna try Coca-Cola. Ooh, that's something that can sure quench my thirst. Get Coca-Cola today for only 5 cents.
Good evening. Today, we are interviewing a very special person. He's the man who wears a suit and tie. He is the president. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Herbert Hoover.
Thank you, Jacob, for inviting me today.
No problem. So today we'll be talking about how you are doing with this Great Depression.
Well, at this time of period, we are having more poverty than ever, so it is very depressing. And now, everybody is blaming me for everything.
Well, it's too bad that everybody is blaming everything on you. And the Great Depression is very bad. So who would you blame? The stock market?
Actually, yes, I'm blaming some of it on the stock markets, and I'm blaming it on myself because I did not take action.
Well, thank you for being honest. And how are the people doing about it?
Well, there are rumors that people are jumping off of buildings. And the true thing is that Jesse Livermore shot himself in the head because he lost money and did not want to live.
Well, that is a big tragedy for everyone.
I know, but you know that it is how life goes. There are bad things in life and there are good things in life.
That is surely right, Mr. President. And that is it for today. Now everyone give the President Herbert Hoover a round of applause. we're back. The Federal Home and Loan Bank Act is a U.S. federal legislation passed under the President Herbert Hoover to assist individuals by creating a system that provided low-cost funds to banks to use in mortgage and loan creation. It is the primary federal regulation of the houses and saving and loan industry. This act was designed to lower the cost of home ownership. The legislation passed under the U.S. government in 1932 in response to the failure of the banking system. The Federal Home Loan Bank Board, which supervised federal savings and loan institutions, was created pursuant to this act.
Bonus Army. Few images from the Great Depression are more indelible than the route of the Bonus Marchers. At the time, the sight of the federal government turning on its own citizens, veterans no less, raised doubts to the fate of the Republic, and it still has the power to shock decades later. From the start of 1932 promised to be a difficult year for the country as the Depression deepened and frustrations mounted. And on December of 1931, there was a small communist-led hunger march on Washington. A few weeks later, a Pittsburgh priest led an army of 12,000 jobless men there to agitate for unemployment legislation. In March, a riot at Ford's River Ranch plant in Michigan left 4 dead, over 50 wounded. Thus, when the band of jobless veterans led by a former cannery worker named Walter W. Walters began arriving in the capital in May, tensions were high. Calling themselves the Bonus Expeditionary Forces, they demanded early payment of a bonus Congress and promised them for their service in World War I. Army Chief of Staff MacArthur was convinced was a communist conspiracy to undermine the government of the United States, and that the movement was actually far deeper and more dangerous than an effort to secure funds from nearly depleted federal treasury. But that was simply not the case. MacArthur's own General Staff Intelligence Division reported in June that only 3 of the 26 leaders of the Bonus March were communist, and percentage within the rank file likely even smaller. And we'll be back.
Federal Emergency Relief Administration. The New Deal under Franklin Delano Roosevelt attempted to provide recovery and relief from the Great Depression by the establishment of the number of emergency relief programs. Among these, the Federal Emergency Relief Administration, FERA program, the first of its major relief operations, provided state assistance for the unemployed and their families. Rather than having large numbers of workers on the dole, Roosevelt believed in work relief, or payment for work performed, to help maintain the morale of the recipients. Although more costly, this program and others provided work for over 20 million people.
We're back. The Hoover Dam spans the Colorado River in Black Canyon between Arizona and Nevada, some 30 miles southeast of Las Vegas, Nevada. Constructed in 1930s, the concrete arch gravity structure was intended to prevent flooding as well as provide much needed irrigation and hydroelectric power to arid regions of the state, like California and Arizona. It was originally known as Boulder Dam, but was renamed in 1947 in honor of Herbert Hoover, who was U.S. Secretary of Commerce and the 31st U.S. President, proved instrumental in getting the dam built. At 726 feet, 1,244 feet long, the Hoover Dam was one of the largest man-made structures in the world at the time of its construction.
Social Security Act, an act to provide for the general welfare by establishing a system of federal old age benefits, and by enabling the several states to make more adequate provision for aged people, blind people, dependent and crippled children, maternal and child welfare, public health, and the administration of the unemployment compensation laws. To establish a Social Security Board to raise revenue and for other purposes. The Act helped many people and is very helpful to many families in this time. The Social Security Act saved people and still saves people of the new generation. American Liberty League was a conservative national protest organization formed in 1934 by anti-Roosevelt Democrats to protest the New Deal and promote the small government ideals of Jefferson Democrats. The League was led by Democrats with strong business connections, especially Al Smith, the 1928 Democratic president nominee, Juliette Schau's former High Party official, John W. Davis, the 1924 Democratic presidential nominee, and John Jacob Rascott, former Democratic national chairman and the foremost opponent of prohibition, Ian Alcheston, former Secretary of State under Harry Truman, along with many industrialists, notably members of the Dr. DuPont family. The liberal New Dealers considered their greatest enemy.
The League stated that it would work to defend, uphold the Constitution, and the foster of the right work, to earn, to save, and to acquire property. In its opinion, the Roosevelt administration was leading to the U.S. towards socialism, bankruptcy, and dictatorship. The League spent between $500,000 and $1.5 million in promotional campaigns. Its funding came mostly from the DuPont family, as well as the leaders of the U.S. Steel, General Motors, Standard Oil, Chase National Bank, and Goodyear Tire and rubber companies. It reached over 125,000 members and supported the Republicans in 1936. And that's all for tonight. I'm Bob McCarthy.
And I'm Bobby Leemore.
Thanks for watching tonight on CNN.